It's a battle for first place at Target Field between the Twins and the Indians, and so far Cleveland's had their way with Minnesota this year. They've won 5 of the 7 head-to-head meetings, including all 4 here at Target Field, outscoring the Twins in the Twins' home ballpark 28-8. Twins baseball against the Cleveland Indians, a doubleheader here this afternoon. Game 1 coming momentarily. Twins baseball on Fox Sports North is presented by State Farm. With Roy Smalley, I'm Anthony LaPanta. The Twins trying to get their offense back on track. They were held to a single run by Cleveland last night. But the one guy who's been there for the Twins all year long is the slugging Miguel Sano. He's on pace for over 40 home runs, over 120 runs batted in. His current pace would put him among some of the all-time Twins greats.
Well, he just has been astounding, really, to think about the questions that were around him last year and whether or not he was going to take the next step this year. He had answered those questions. He's been absolutely terrific. What impresses me about him is that just when you think he's going to go into a slump, because it looks like he's trying to pull everything, he'll have 4, 5, 6, 8 really bad at bats, strike out a bunch of times in a row, and then has the ability to find his way again and start pounding the ball. He's been really good.
If he can maintain his on-base plus slugging percentage of .984, it would be the 5th best in Twins history. 3 of the 4 that were better were guys who won the AL MVP.
Well, this is an incredible list, isn't it? The seasons that Joe Mauer had, that Rod Carew had in 1977, I hit in front of him in the lineup that year. One of the most amazing things I ever saw. Of course, Harmon. Sano to be mentioned in that group is pretty special.
So the Twins will try to bounce back from last night's loss against the Indians and get back in this series, maintain their lead in the Central. We'll get you ready for first pitch. We continue in a moment.
North is presented by Toyota. Tested, trusted Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. By CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. By Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. And by Dodge. Test drive a Dodge Challenger or Charger at the Dodge Drive and Discover sales event going on now.
Both the Indians and the Twins are calling up starting pitchers from their minor leagues to fill out both ends of the doubleheader. In the opener, it'll be left-hander Ryan Merritt going for the Indians and left-hander Adam Wilk going for the Minnesota Twins. And we welcome you to Target Field. Any day with a big league baseball game in it is a good day. That's going to be a great day because we've got two of them for you. And the Twins have in the lineup for the opener here today one of their hottest hitters, Eduardo Escobar.
Yeah, Escobar, you know, he's been red hot. 10 hits in his last 15 at-bats and showing off some power. Escobar, you know, a switch hitter, is hitting well. Now 13 hits in his last 19 at-bats. So Escobar playing third where he's played very good defense too. Miguel Sano, the designated hitter in game one. So hopefully Escobar will continue to swing a hot bat.
Indians jumped into the free agent market. They don't do it very often, but they did to bring in Edwin Encarnacion, and after a slow start, he is red hot.
Well, 42 home runs last year for the Blue Jays. He drove in 127. That's what the Indians would like to get out of Encarnacion. He had a big 3-run home run in last night's ball game that gave the Indians an early 4-0 lead.
It's a split doubleheader today here at Target Field. Some team is going to be able to reflect on a win in game one. You're probably hoping it's the Twins. We're about ready to get that first game started here at Target Field in a moment.
Game one of a 4-game fight. Cleveland took it to the Twins and now sits just 1 game back in the standings. Minnesota has gotten up off the mat many times this season, and they look to do it again today at Target Field. Spend the day with us for a Saturday doubleheader on Fox Sports North. And left-hander Adam Wilk will be making his first start for the Twins. He made a start earlier this year for the New York Mets, but he's making the start here today as the Twins send 3 left-handed starting pitchers to the mound to start this series, with a total, counting Nick Turley's start last night, the 3 starters have a total of 14 big league starts. And Wilk will be making his 5th big league start here this afternoon. Terry Francona has seen his team underachieve to this point, but they realize that with 7 games out of 11 against the Twins, they've got a chance to correct all that in a hurry. And the Menards batting order for the Indians. Jason Kipnis back in the lineup. Looked like he might have tweaked his neck a little bit last night, but he's back in there. Daniel Robertson, Jose Ramirez, Edwin Encarnacion, Carlos Santana, Austin Jackson, Bradley Zimmer, Roberto Perez, and Eric Gonzalez.
And 29-year-old left-hander Adam Wick on the mound, like you mentioned, Dick, making his first Twins start. And just his 5th major league start. He did pitch in relief against Cleveland when he was claimed off waivers from the New York Mets. He stayed with the Twins. His first appearance as a Twin actually in Cleveland. He worked in relief of Hector Santiago, 3 1/3 innings.
Northland Ford defense for the Twins. Eddie Rosario in left, Byron Buxton in center, Robbie Grossman in right, Escobar, Adrianza, Dozier, Vargas the infielders, Chris Jimenez doing the catching. And for the Twins, the bench players tonight or today in game 1, Castro, Kepler, Mauer, and Polanco. First pitch to Kipnis inside, ball 1.
Wick has a fastball in the low 90s, big hard breaking ball, and a changeup. Average down for Kipnis, been little nagging injuries.
A little pop-up, only one infielder on that side. And Escobar back on the outfield grass makes the catch. Kind of a tough play. You're up on the infield grass and you've got to backpedal through the skin of the infield out of the outfield grass.
And with that high sky too, you saw the shadows of the players. It's basically straight up above them. So nice little catch by Escobar for first out of the ballgame.
Daniel Robertson now will bat. Robertson in left field for the Indians. And on the outside corner.
Robertson, 31 years old, signed as a free agent with the Indians over the winter.
1-1.
Has some major league experience. First came up with the Texas Rangers, then the Angels, last year with the Seattle Mariners.
On the ground, Adrianza has it, rifles his throw across to Vargas, 2 down quickly for Adam Wilk.
A good changeup right there.
Jose Ramirez adequately filling the 3-hole for the Indians. They've got some hitters who've struggled this year, but not Ramirez.
Now Ramirez still a youngster, 24 years old. He's already in his 5th season with the Indians. Last year hit .312, and over the last 3 ball games starting to pick it up even better. Not only a good offensive player, good defensive third baseman. Remember when he first came up, he was out in the outfield.
And that's kind of the hallmark of Terry Francona's teams, having players that will be willing to move around. Lonnie Chisenhall has done that. He was an infielder. He's an outfielder. Ramirez was in the outfield. He was at short a couple years ago until Lindor showed up. Now he's their third baseman. 2-0. Both teams wearing the powder blue in honor of Father's Day and prostate cancer awareness. Outside, 3-0 with Encarnacion on deck.
Well, like mentioned, making his 5th major league start. This is his 13th appearance.
There's a strike, 3-1. Wilk was here last night. He saw Nick Turley issue a couple of walks and give up a home run, so he knows that this Cleveland lineup is not one to issue free passes to, because they can burn you, as what happened last night with Encarnacion's 3-run home run. Now it's a full count. Fouled back. Contrasting the 2 starters, it's fair to say, I think, that Turley throws harder than Wilk. Today we're participating in the home run challenge. Every home run and strikeout in the game today raises money for prostate cancer research. You can make a pledge by going to homerunchallenge.org. To right field and hit well. Grossman going back, and it's gone, a home run. Ramirez to the opposite field on a 3-2 pitch, and it's 1-0.
And a 10th home run of the year for Ramirez, so he continues to swing a hot bat. A switch hitter is a right-handed hitter. That's his 3rd home run. So a fastball away, didn't try to pull it, didn't try to hit it straight away, just kind of went with it. And the strength of the young 24-year-old makes good contact. ends up in the bleachers out in right field.
2-out damage in the first inning this afternoon, and now Encarnacion up and away, ball 1. Giving up runs early has been a chronic issue at home, more so than on the road. Saw the Mariners score a pair of runs 3 times in the 4-game series. 2-0 now to Encarnacion.
You know, in Wilk's career, he came into the game only 37 innings pitched in the big leagues. That's his 14th home run he's allowed.
And now he falls behind Encarnacion 3-0. And a 4-pitch walk puts him aboard. That'll bring up Carlos Santana.
Between Las Vegas, which is AAA for the Mets, and Rochester, combined 3 wins, 3 losses for Wick.
Marvin Hudson calling balls and strikes. He'll get the night game off. Tom Woodring, Dan Bellino, Mike Estabrook on the bases. An umpire will be added for the split doubleheader.
Yeah, Todd Woodring actually added from last night's crew.
Jerry Lane gets the game off and will have the plate duty tonight. 1 strike to Carlos Santana.
Santana, a switch hitter, hitting only 176 as a right-handed hitter, only 236 as a lefty. Big swing, has got very good power.
So Wilk gets ahead of Santana after falling behind Ramirez and Encarnacion. Past Adrianza. 0-2 single for Santana. The Indians are still in business.
Yeah, too good a pitch right there, ahead in the count. Ball looked like it was down the heart of the plate, middle in, and Santana hits it sharply into left field. Wanting to go inside, but ball left up, too much of the plate. I think that burned me more than anything. You know, you get ahead 0-2 and then you make a mistake like that. Boy, did not like giving up those 0-2 hits.
Here is Austin Jackson with 2 on and 2 out. Fouled away. Neil Allen, the pitching coach for the Twins, will tell you nightmarish stories about one of his pitching coaches when he was with the Mets was Hall of Famer Bob Gibson. And Gibson, as if he were still pitching, took exception to giving up hits when his pitchers had an 0-2 count. And he would remind them of how unhappy he was when they got back into the dugout.
Probably real close face to face.
And now 2 strikes to Austin Jackson.
I mean, you know, out there, you know, you made a mistake. You know, you're ahead in the count. Make them chase a pitch or something. They tried to go hard in, and you know, Wilkham, I know he's upset that he did that, but now, hey, still 2 outs, runners on.
Make a better pitch here.
Make a better pitch here.
All is forgiven, right?
Well, never forgiven, but no, he didn't want to go. He didn't want to make a mistake there. Jimenez had to leap for that one.
1-2. Wilk, of course, started the year in the Mets organization. He was the guy the Mets called up when Matt Harvey showed up late to pitch a ball game. And on an emergency basis, he was summoned from Las Vegas and then designated for assignment. The Twins picked him up. And now 2-2. Nick Turley, the starter last night for the Twins, wasn't with the Twins in spring training. Gives you some idea how bare the cupboard is in the Twins organization for starting pitching. They've had to get these guys from outside and not only acquire them to fill out the Rochester roster, but here they are pitching in this big series with Cleveland. Up high, and now it's 3-2.
Yeah, Wick is the 9th different starter the Twins are using so far this year.
Well, it was 0-2. Now it's 3-2, and suddenly the dials turned up to 11 early for Adam Wilk.
Yeah, what that does, it allows Encarnacion, not the quickest, will get a good jump here once Wick delivers that ball toward home.
And he missed. And now they're loaded up for Bradley Zimmer. A 2-out home run, then a walk, a single on an 0-2 pitch. He had Jackson 0-2, and now the bases are loaded.
Yeah, Wilk walking his second batter.
Zimmer playing in center field. Lefty against lefty. Speed pitch off the corner, strike one. Got to find a way to get out of this inning with just one run allowed. It's too big of a game for the Twins and too big of a game for Adam Wilk. Getting an opportunity here to pitch a good ball game in a big series, and he's tested right away here in the first inning. 0-2 to the third straight batter. And now 1-2. 28 pitches, 14 strikes after a couple of very quick outs to start the inning. Foul back.
Well, Zimmer, 24 years old. He was the #1 pick by the Indians in 2014. The University of San Francisco, got called up in the middle of May. Speedy outfielder.
Liner to right and a base hit, charged by Grossman. One run will score. Second runner coming through. Vargas cuts it off, and Indians jump out in front 3-0 with Wilk getting ahead of his third straight batter, 0-2, this time losing him to a base hit.
Yeah, just can't finish it off. Left a pitch up. Zimmer picking up his 16th and 17th runs batted in. And it's an early 3-0 lead for the Indians.
Wilk made 3 appearances, 2 starts for Rochester. And Neil Allen with a first inning trip to the mound. All of this, 5 straight batters reaching 3 scoring after the second out. We talked about the cupboard being bare. The other starters for Rochester, David Hurlbut has a whip of 1.43 in 10 starts for the Red Wings. Aaron Sleekers with a whip of 1.37. 71 innings, 81 hits allowed. The theory is that neither one of those pitchers is ready for this. Jason Wheeler, 7 starts, an ERA of 4.5. Here's Roberto Perez, first and third, 2 outs, and 3 already in. Dribbled, foul, 1 strike. The most effective starters the Red Wings have had this year are already here. Jose Barrios, Alberto Mejia, Kyle Gibson made a couple of starts. He was pretty good in Rochester. Gibson will pitch in the series finale tomorrow. 1 strike to Perez. Zimmer at first after a big 2-run single.
Now, Wick's got a pretty good move. He did pick off one batter this year, or one base runner.
One strike to the 8th batter of the first inning. One and one.
.32 pitches, 17 strikes.
To accommodate Wilk on the roster, the Twins sent Ryan Pressly to Rochester, optioning him there this morning. And it's not because Pressly wasn't pitching well. It's just he pitched recently, a couple innings last night. And with 2 games today, and a growing apprehension in baseball to have relief pitchers pitching in both games of a doubleheader, the Twins had to make a move, and Pressly was the odd man out because he'd pitched most recently, now almost to the backstop, and it's 2-1. So Ryan Pressly optioned to Rochester. Alex Wimmers added to the roster for this doubleheader as a 26th man, and he is eligible to pitch in both the morning or afternoon game and the night game, one or the other or both. And this is all after Berrios gave the Twins an extra inning or 2 the other day, going 8 innings in the hopes of saving the bullpen, and they still have to shuffle the roster to get through the day.
Well, 3 throws over Zimmer at first base. Good speed. 5 stolen bases in 6 attempts. So Wilk trying to keep him close.
2-1 to Perez. There goes Zimmer, and there won't be a throw. He had the base stolen before Jimenez caught the ball.
They got a great jump right there. Zimmer picks up his 6th stolen base in 7 attempts. Sometimes with a lefty out there, you have to guess first movement, and that's exactly what Zimmer did. Could have went in standing up.
Three and one now. Eric Gonzalez on deck. Big swing and a miss, 3-2. Might have changed ball 4.
Well, Perez averaged down, but
he did chase ball 4.
He's got some pop in that bat.
Full count to Perez. Pitch number 36. Foul just beneath us.
Oh, nice catch by the fan down here. Didn't need a glove. And then he gave it to a young girl. Very nice.
Wilk really struggling to get the 3rd out. Changeup got him, and finally the inning ends. But after the 2nd out, the Indians string a bunch of hits and walks together to score 3.
Now that's a nice jersey.
There you are walking into the ballpark.
With my little guy, my grandson.
Well, the Indians have a 3-0 lead early, this time even earlier than their lead last night. Menards batting order for the Twins. Brian Dozier leading off, then Eduardo Escobar, Miguel Sano, Robbie Grossman, Kenny Vargas, Eddie Rosario, Byron Buxton, A-Ray Adrianza, and Chris Jimenez.
It'll be young 25-year-old Ryan Merritt, 6 foot tall, 180 pounder. Last year had some good outings. We'll talk about that. 4 stints with the Indians last year. He also participated in postseason.
Boy, did he ever.
Yes,
he stepped up in a big game for the Indians because, as you may recall, they were begging for starting pitching through their postseason run. First pitch hit to Kipnis on the third base side of second base, and Dozier's very quickly retired.
Yeah, Merritt with a fastball, not overpowering, maybe top out 91, 92, curveball, little cut fastball like a slider, a very good changeup.
Indians out of the field. Robertson, Zimmer, Jackson in the outfield, Ramirez, Gonzalez, Kipnis, Santana, the infielders, and Perez behind the plate. Kipnis missed a couple of games with a strained neck, and then as he tried to get out of the way of a Ryan Presley pitch last night, looked like he tweaked it and was out of the ball game at the end of the ball game. Back in the lineup today. 1 strike to Eduardo Escobar. Didn't start last night. Back in the starting lineup this afternoon, maybe tonight as well.
Boy, 3 pitches, 2 outs.
Jose Bautista claimed that this kid Merritt, when he saw the Toronto lineup, would be shaking in his boots, and if he was shaking in his boots, he pitched awfully well.
Only 2 hits allowed, 4 in their third innings. Indians ended up winning that ball game 3-0, and then went to the World Series and faced the Chicago Cubs. That was game 5.
Here is Sano, and there is ball 1. Big man, the designated hitter this afternoon, probable third baseman tonight. And he takes a strike.
You already see that Merritt's kind of a finesse type pitcher. There's a big slow curveball at 72, 73.
Sano now has to shift into attack mode, taking a couple of strikes. 2-2. Indians did all their damage in the top of this inning after the second out. We'll see if the Twins can do the same. Grossman on deck. Right up the middle, between the legs of Merritt and into center field before Kipnis could hardly move. And Sano has a sharp single. A good at bat for Sano, and the last thing you want, of course, is to fall behind early and have a string of bad at bats. Dozier was retired in 1 pitch, Escobar on 2, and now Grossman will come up.
Yeah, outer half of the plate. Good solid swing by Sano.
And Grossman takes a strike. To the right field corner. Jackson sprinting to the corner and flags it down, showing his speed that made him such a good center fielder. Jackson gets the fly ball in the corner, and the Twins are done in the first inning.
inning. Time for our car soup scoop from the clubhouse. Paul Molitor says the message to the guys at the plate today is to not get too greedy. Yes, you might get some mistakes from Merritt, but you have to take your hits where you can get them and build off of that. Molitor also said the decision to option Ryan Pressly was based really just on circumstance. His last 2 outings, yes, he made improvements, but last night, because of 24 pitches, he would not be available. And with the mindset has shifted in the last couple of years, but Molitor not afraid to use guys in both games today, saying Brandon Kinsler, Alex Wimmers, and Taylor Rogers would be the 3 he'd feel comfortable going with in both games. Guys?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Audra.
1 strike to Gonzalez, and now another foul ball over the roof of the Twins dugout. 0-2. Big inning for Adam Welk. Couldn't get out of the first after getting a couple of quick outs, gave up 3 runs, and the Twins need him to hang up a series of zeros. An 0-2 pitch moving him off the plate. Gonzalez at short. We expect to see Lindor there in the nightcap.
Yeah, Gonzalez getting called up in the middle of May from AAA.
A foul ball. Vargas has no play. One and 2 to Eric Gonzalez, and back to the top of the order, and Jason Kipnis.
Yeah, Gonzalez, 25 years old, 9 seasons in the minor leagues. He came up a little bit last year with the Indians. Signed by the Indians out of Dominican Republic back in 2008.
And another foul. And another 2-strike pitch from Adam Wilk. Missed the inside corner. 2-2.
Wilk, 29 years old, originally drafted by the Tigers back in 2009. Been released a couple times. Played in 2013 in South Korea.
And another foul to the opposite field. I think we've seen that last night and even tonight today with Jose Ramirez, a right-handed batter, hitting the ball hard to the opposite field for a home run. And I think that's what Paul Molitor was saying. Take what the pitcher Ryan Merritt is giving you. If there are pitches on the outside part of the plate, don't try to pull them. This one again fought off to the right side. And you can see he's kind of a opposite field hitter. And then he pulls one 100 miles down the left field line, foul. Wow. So again, Wilk really struggling after the second strike. Struggled after the second out. He had 3 straight batters reach after he got ahead of them 0-2. And now it's 3-2.
You know, minor league numbers say a guy that has pitched 916 1/3 minor league innings, he has 706 strikeouts, averaging between 6 and 7 strikeouts. But down there you can put hitters away. Up here a little more difficult.
Backhanded. Adrianza juggles and can't get much on the throw, and Gonzalez will get an infield hit. So after all of that, Gonzalez gets an infield hit, and the Indians have their leadoff man on in the second. They'll bring up Kipnis.
Adrianza did a good job getting over there, but in the exchange right there, just you see he lost the ball in the glove, and then it's too late. So a nice effort, but just would have been a heck of a play if he had been able to get that ball out quick, because it looked like Gonzalez gets down that line pretty quickly.
Kipnis, the batter, he popped up to Escobar in short left field to start the ball game. And then Robertson grounded out to Adrianza, and it looked like Wilk was off to a really good start, but then the 3 runs. Tapped foul up the line. Kipnis getting out of the way. Presley with a fastball up and in, and then Kipnis.
That was in the 8th inning. Yep, and in the 9th inning, Presley ended up getting the left shoulder of Ramirez.
Kipnis was hit to start the ball game last night, but that was with a breaking ball from Turley. Squaring and a bunt, and Wilk throws to first. Kipnis will get credit for a sacrifice, advancing Gonzalez to second. And now Daniel Robertson. So the Indians tried to do that last night with Lonnie Chisenhall.
You know, sometimes when you're not swinging a bat real well, you do that right there. Get your man over. You know, play for the 1 run. So getting high fives all around Kipnis.
Robertson, the batter. Hit a pretty hard 2-hopper to Adrianza for the second out last inning. In the dirt to Jimenez, ball 1. Robertson contributed to the Indian win last night with a strong throw from the left field warning track to get Rosario at second base. And Vargas kicks it a little bit, flips to Wilk. They still get the out. In and out of the glove, but Vargas with a nice recovery, and Wilk right where he should be, 2 down.
Yeah, he tried to come in to look at that little short hop, and what he did right, and I'll say it again, once that ball was bobbled, he didn't pick it up with his glove. He barehanded it, and then the pitcher's responsibility, see a ball in and out of the glove, pick it up, don't panic, as Tom Kelly would say, and flip it to the pitcher covering.
But when they tell you don't panic and they scream it,
then you're panicking.
Then you're going to panic, aren't you? Here is Ramirez hit an opposite field home run in the first inning, and Wilk hits the outside corner, strike 1. That hasn't been the problem for Wilk. Trying to strand Gonzalez at third base. One and one.
You see the pitch count on your screen, 54 pitches already. .37 in the first inning.
Popped up to right field. Grossman has a long run, slams on the brakes, makes the catch, and that ends the second inning. Wilk got what he needed, a scoreless second inning. We go back to 1993. On this date, baseball owners voted 26-2. I'd like to know who the two were in favor of expanding the playoffs for the first time since 1969. The new system, beginning in '94, doubled the number of teams qualifying for postseason play to 8 by realigning each league to 3 divisions and then adding 2 wild card teams, 1 in each league. Seems like a long time ago, but remember when they first revised it, the wild card team was treated almost as with equal footing, if you will, as a division winner in terms of getting into the playoffs. Jam shot and a bouncer to third, and Ramirez still has time to get Vargas at first, 1 down. All you really gave up as a wild card team as opposed to a division winner was the right to have home field advantage.
Right.
1 down, and now Eddie Rosario.
Well, we saw Vargas in the top of the inning bobble a ball, and what did he do? And watch Ramirez right here. Ball came up, little trouble getting it out of his glove, reaches down, bare hands it, didn't panic, and Vargas running down that line was the first out.
My guess is if that was Buxton running down the line, he would have panicked.
Might have thrown the ball into the stands.
Here's Rosario. Outside, ball 1. Beautiful day for an afternoon game and then a night game tonight. 2-0 to Rosario. And a strike.
Now, Merritt last year had 4 stints with the Indians. He had 1 relief appearance against the Twins here in a 9-2 win. He worked 1 inning, a 1-2-3 inning. To say he looks like a crafty lefty. A lot of off-speed stuff.
Slow breaking ball there. Gets a swing and a miss. 2-2.
Curveball right there at 71 miles an hour.
7-5 in AAA, an ERA of 3.84. 89 hits and 79 2/3 innings. Not dominant, but effective enough to where Indians had a need, and they, like the Twins, calling up reinforcements from AAA. The difference is they know a whole lot more and have a longer history with Merritt and with Clevenger than the Twins have with Wilt, last night's starter Turley, and even tonight's starter Mejia. Full count. And that one off the pitcher, and now over to Ramirez, gets rid of it quickly. Big pick at first by Santana.
Now that's the way to get an assist.
1-5-3, and Rosario, a fleet-footed runner, is still retired on the play.
Well, they had that shift on, and Ramirez was playing between third and short. And you see where he's playing right there, a deep third. Off the pitcher's leg. Ricochets over to Ramirez, a quick relay. A nice pick over there by Santana to get the speedy Rosario.
Merritt deflecting it. Nice range by Ramirez. And now 2 away. Here's Byron Buxton hitting 7th in the day game. Buxton hitless in the game last night. Paul Molitor's suggestion to Buxton and all the other hitters is watch the ball a long time. It's not like he throws 95, 97 like some of the relievers we may see later in the game. But track the ball and let the ball get deep into the strike zone and make contact there. You have that luxury when someone doesn't throw very hard.
Just watching Merritt, very fidgety on the mound, and you know, I like his delivery. You know, he changes speeds well.
Now he's ahead of Buxton 1-2.
Kicking the dirt off the pitching mound. Pitching rubber, working off the first base side.
And a fastball on the outside corner. And Merritt has a 1-2-3 second inning. minutes. And the lightheadedness, they figured out that it was due to dehydration. And so he was back in the lineup the next day. Similar symptoms, but a different situation for Victor Martinez. He left Thursday's game, went to the hospital, spent all day yesterday in the hospital, put on the 10-day disabled list, and we're happy to report that he was released from the hospital this morning. And Victor Martinez is the subject of our Sanford Health Injury Report. A little different situation and some concern for the veteran Victor Martinez. They're going to run him through a series of tests, trying to figure out why he reacted the way that he did Thursday night. Outside now 1-1 to Edwin Encarnacion. In Francona's case, a couple years prior, he left the ball game and was feeling discomfort in his chest. Down and away 2-1. He has been a part of the turnaround in Cleveland. Check swing now 3-1. Encarnacion, Santana, and Jackson in the Cleveland third. All the movement from Rochester to Minnesota, Minnesota to Rochester on the pitching side. And then there was this. Relief pitcher Mason Melitakis was promoted from Chattanooga to AAA. And I think there's a real good chance, if Melitakis stays healthy and pitches well, that he will be up here to help the major league club sooner rather than later. That's just my suspicion. That's not based on any conversation. Encarnacion draws a leadoff walk in the third. We'll bring up Santana. You can follow Twins baseball live with the MLB.com at-bat mobile app. Stay connected to the game's best players all season long with game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat today. It's your #1 app for live baseball. Carlos Santana singled his first time up and scored in the 3-run first inning, and Wilk misses ball 1.
Yeah, Wilkes got 3 walks in a ball game, giving up 4 hits with 3 runs in the first inning.
Swing and a miss. Santana's a free agent after this year, and Santana's follow through, it looked like he hit Jimenez, his former teammate. 1-1. Santana, a free agent after this year, and it's anybody's guess at this point how interested the Indians are in bringing him back, or how much he wants to stay in Cleveland. And there's the follow through, clubbing the back of Jimenez's head. And to think, wasn't that long ago, catchers wore caps under their masks.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's why a lot of catchers wear the hard helmet.
Mike Matheny, I believe, was the last catcher I saw wear just a regular cap with the bill in the back and the mask over it. 1-2 to Santana. Right field corner, fairly deep, but a foul ball. And of course, different players react differently to the pressure of being a free agent, whether that has anything to do with Santana's lack of production this year. Santana probably couldn't even answer that. But just look at Kansas City. Alcides Escobar, the shortstop, is going to be a free agent. He's really, really struggling. And his mate on the left side of the infield, Mike Moustakas, is having maybe his best year, and he too will be a free agent at season's end. Dribbler in front of Escobar. He'll have to hurry. That's a good play, and they got him. Eduardo Escobar, playing a deep third base, made a fine play for the first out.
Yeah, the exchange from glove to the ball very quick right here. So kind of a swinging bunt. Escobar has to come in and get it in that little hop, and then watch the exchange and then the release very quickly to get Santana at first base. Good stretch by Vargas.
Encarnacion to second, and now Austin Jackson. And I found it odd when I found a lot of things odd when I started working with you. But one of them was you were never a free agent.
No.
You were always traded from one team to the other, but you never were out on the open market.
I was always under a long-term contract. So
1-0.
never took advantage of that.
Foul back. And you did that, I would imagine, for security, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, you don't know when that wing was going to explode.
In Santana's case, the Indians picked up his option, and why wouldn't they? He had a really good year last year, helped get them to and almost win the World Series. But it's a little bit different set of circumstances this next offseason. 1-1. And now 2-1. 2-1 to Austin Jackson. Drew a walk in the 3-run first inning. Wilk trying to suck it up and give the Twins at least 5 innings here, hopefully with a few more zeros up on the board. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
Wilk without a strikeout.
Well, he got Perez, didn't he, to end the first inning?
Oh, you're right. He has one. Didn't mark it down on my book.
2-2. Foul back. And that's what we've seen from Wilk. A few innings as a relief pitcher, and here today in his first Twin start, he really doesn't have swing and miss stuff. When you throw 90 miles per hour and you're a finesse pitcher, you generally aren't going to strike too many people out. 2-2. Just off the corner, not far from the pitch that was called strike 3 to Buxton, but now it's a full count.
Tried a little backdoor slider right there, just missed. A quick look at that slider.
Can't call that a strike. That foul got a piece of Jimenez. Mentioned that the cupboard's kind of bare for the Twins. The picking's pretty slim, to use another cliche, when it comes to minor league starters who are ready to come up here. A couple of guys that could have been. Cole Stewart, #1 draft pick a few years ago, but he's been hurt. He's having problems throwing strikes. He's got 22 walks and 24 and a fraction innings at Rochester. Another 3-2. And a fly ball to right, playable for Grossman. 2 down, and let's go to Audra Martin.
Guys, it's time for our showstopper today. It's the first place Milwaukee Brewers, who pulled out a come-from-behind win last night over the Padres thanks to a walk-off blast from Eric Thames in the bottom of the 10th. That's the second straight game where Thames has provided the game-winning home run. It was a 6-5 win for the Brewers, all 11 runs in that one coming from the long ball. Guys?
Big home run for one of the best free agent signees of the offseason. 2 down with a runner at second, and now Bradley Zimmer drove in a pair of runs with a single to right in the first inning. Way out in front, strike 1. I just wanted to be clear when I was talking about Cole Stewart. He's on the Chattanooga roster. I didn't mean to suggest he was at Rochester, the AAA affiliate. Swing and a miss again on the off-speed pitch.
2 good breaking balls to get ahead in the count. They got ahead in the count to Zimmer in his first at-bat, went to 3-2, and that's when he hit the 2-run single.
Low, and it's 1-2. Indians got their leadoff man on in the second, and Wilk left him at third base. Now Encarnacion with the leadoff walk for the time being is stuck at second. 1-2 to Bradley Zimmer. Two and two. And Wilk's pitch count, trying to get through the third inning here, is approaching 80. And this will be pitch 80. Wilk tried to hit the outside corner with a fastball, and it was just off the plate. Take a look at it. It was well in the strike zone. Fox Tracks presented by Dodge.
8 3-ball counts already. Turley had 10, I believe, last night.
And Zimmer on the breaking ball whacks it into the corner. Another big 2-out hit for Zimmer, driving in another run. He's got 3 runs batted in. So Wilk hit the outside corner with the fastball, didn't get the call, tried a breaking ball, and Zimmer was all over it.
And left it up. And Zimmer, like you mentioned, picking up now 3 runs batted in. 18 on the season. As Encarnacion scores after the leadoff walk.
Zimmer with a couple of big hits here with 2 outs, driving in 3 runs. And now Perez will bat. Perez struck out to end the first. No activity in the Twins pen, so Wilk is going to try to find a way to get through the third inning here. And again, the Twins shuffling the bullpen roster in addition to the rotation roster, with 2 rookie starters going in this doubleheader. Wilk and then Mejia tonight. Twins unfortunately aren't in a position, nor should they be, to know what to expect from Mejia tonight. Up, and it's 1-1.
Well, he's coming off that bad outing against the Mariners, but prior to that, he was pitching pretty good.
But almost by definition, he's a rookie pitcher. You don't know for sure what you're going to get. You'd like to have some confidence in a doubleheader situation like this. 1-1 to Perez. There's the outside corner. You'd like to have some confidence that your starters will pitch more innings than the relievers would in a doubleheader, but you really, I don't think Paul Molitor and Neil Allen had that confidence before the first pitch today.
I just don't know.
1-2. And Perez strikes out to end another inning. A leadoff walk comes around to score on another 2-out hit for Bradley Zimmer, and it's 4-0.
Can Perez hit more?
Ford. Visit buyfordnow.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. By Grand Casino, the best stories start here. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Couple of clutch hits early in this ball game for center fielder Bradley Zimmer. He's driven in 3 of the 4 runs with 2 out hits. The Twins' hole just got a little bit deeper. 4-0 as they hit now in the bottom of the 3rd. Starting with A-Ray Adrianza. Then Chris Jimenez and Brian Dozier. There's a bunt, foul, 1 strike.
And Merritt has appreciated the early run support, and he's doing a good job of getting him back on the bench as quick as possible. Only 23 pitches thrown, 16 over the plate.
And a line drive base hit. Adrianza with a sharp single to start the 3rd inning. That'll bring up Jimenez. Jimenez, the catcher today, not the designated hitter, even though he had a 2-home-run game the other day.
Well, take a look at this pitch, middle in, I believe. And Adrianza open up quickly, lines it into left field. Twins get their 2nd hit.
Jimenez with 3 home runs on the year. Adrianza with a big lead at first, and Jimenez takes strike 1. One strike to Jimenez. 4 different stints over the years with the Indians. There you see Adrianza's lead, and that draws a throw. Jimenez on the playoff roster for the ALCS, but not the World Series last year for the Indians, but was in uniform in the dugout as the Indians almost pull it out against the Cubs in Game 7. Pitches up, 1-1. It was a great World Series, and not just because the Cubs won. That was nice to see, to be sure, but then you remember the Indians have the long World Series drought too. One and one. Didn't mean to, and a little roller. Santana pounces on it and gets one, and the second return throw goes into the seats, so Jimenez will end up at second base. Good play by Santana, who instinctively charged that ball and was able to get the lead runner.
Got the force out, and then with the pitcher covering, a little short hop to Merritt, and the ball got by him into the stands. Kind of a check swing right there by Jimenez. Santana charging it, getting the force out, and the relay throw gets by the pitcher.
Error to the shortstop, I presume. Here's Dozier with Jimenez at second. Now that's how good it's going for Jimenez. I mean, he checked his swing and still hit it on the barrel, and ends up at second base. Strike 1 to Dozier.
Yeah, the air charge to the shortstop Gonzalez, his first of the year.
Jimenez reaching first on a fielder's choice, going to second on the air. One strike to Dozier, who bounced out to Kipnis on the first pitch he saw in the first inning. The right center field, down for a hit. Jimenez will round third. He's coming around, and the throw cut off, and Dozier drives in the first Twins run with a sharp single to right.
And we have seen more of that from Brian Dozier, taking the ball the other way. So Dozier picking up his 30th RBI of the year.
And that's what I think Paul Molitor meant when he said the hitters should take the hits that they are given. If the pitch is away, it's a perfect pitch to do what he did.
Yeah, weighted back nicely, lining it into right center. Zimmer picking it up, getting it back in the infield.
Twins on the board now. Escobar. No activity in the Twins pen with Wilk anticipating starting the 4th inning. Ball 1 to Escobar. He pulled the ball to short on the second pitch he saw in the 1st inning. Both Cleveland catchers, Gomes and Perez, are above average in terms of throwing runners out. Twins down by 3 runs. You wouldn't think Dozier would go here with a left-hander on the mound. And we've seen Merritt throw over there, but when he does deliver to the plate, typically it's with a big high leg kick.
Right. Well, lefties again can get away with that.
As soon as the foot crosses the rubber, in this case the right foot comes back behind the rubber, you can go.
It's kind of what Zimmer did against Wick.
Sometimes runners will tell you against lefties they'll just go on first movement, and then it's flip of the coin. You just hope that they don't throw over. There's a strike. Twins had a relief pitcher, primarily a relief pitcher. Mark Guthrie was on the 91 team. He always got a lot of pickoffs, and yet he was easy to steal on because he always had the big high leg kick. And runners would go on first movement. And if he wasn't throwing over there, they had an easy steal of second. Line to center, and the Twins making some noise here in the 3rd inning. And Sano will come to the plate as the tying run.
And Escobar continues to swing a very good bat. Now 14 hits in his last 21 at bats.
The way last night's game played out, the way this one has started, the Twins need a little bit of a jolt here. The fans need a little bit of a jolt. See if Sano can provide it.
Merritt's pitch at 83, lined into center field. So Escobar waited back nicely.
Sano with a sharp single up the middle. It went between Merritt's legs before he could blink. Off the end of the bat, strike 1. I like how Roy Smalley in the pregame show described what has impressed him about Sano, and something we probably didn't see much of last year. When he has those little tail spins where he's swinging and missing a lot, he can bring himself out of it by getting back to using the whole field. It's like he understands what he's doing wrong and corrects it. And here we've seen him get some singles up the middle in this homestand. Trying to hit the ball hard someplace, and when you're as big and strong as he is,
just make good contact.
And it'll carry out. Outside, 1-1. We've seen him do it with as many home runs to right field as left field this year.
Two slow breaking balls so far.
Another pitch intended to tease him a little bit, missing the outside corner, and it's 2-1. And here comes Kipnis in from second base. Twins with the right man at the plate as they hope to come back from a 4-0 deficit. Was time called? Nope. Wilk started toward home plate, and a balk. Well, now wait a minute.
Yeah, Marvin Hudson saying that Sano called for time.
Paul Molitor coming out here. I didn't see anyone in authority calling timeout, but Wilk obviously stopped his delivery.
He's seeing Sano saying time.
Oh, well, that doesn't mean anything if the umpire doesn't do it. And the discussion between Paul Molitor and Marvin Hudson. Apparently, Hudson convinced Molitor that he the umpire.
Maybe he yelled it too, time before he put his hands up.
So no ball. And the count is 2-1 to Sano.
And you kind of saw what Kipnis wanted Merritt to do, is look a couple times to second. Don't just look once. And that's exactly what he did. Now looks again.
Pulled foul. 2-2.
Give him more than one look, because if you just look once, and then Brian might, take off for third. Doubt if he'd do it here with Sano at the plate.
Two and two to Sano. Double play grounder. It came up for the shortstop. Gonzalez made a fine play, and the Twins get just one. That hop, the last one, came up on Gonzalez, but he stayed with it. 6-4-3, and the inning ends.
Maris got the Indians on the board with a home run with 2 outs in the first inning. Then a couple more runs scored thanks to Bradley Zimmer's 2-run single. And another run in the third inning with an RBI double by Zimmer. But the Twins come back with one with an RBI single by Brian Dozier. 4-1 ball game.
And leading off the fourth inning, it'll be shortstop Eric Gonzalez, who started that double play to end the bottom of the third, facing Adam Wilk. And on the first pitch, another leadoff hit for Eric Gonzalez. He's 2 for 2. Takes a big turn and holds up there.
That was a nice play by Gonzalez. That ball came up, and boy, he got rid of that ball quickly. And little pass over to Kipnis to turn to double play.
As they say, anybody can catch the routine ones. That theory is challenged regularly at the fantasy camp. But when you can adjust on a hot ground ball like that and still make the play and get one out, that's something. But he started a double play. Here's Kipnis, 0 for 1 with a sacrifice bunt. He might be asked to do the same here today. And a throw to first, maybe to see if Kipnis would move his hand up the bat barrel. Kipnis, one of their better hitters, struggling against left-handed pitchers. But you wonder whether one of the reasons he didn't lay down a bunt is that neck might still be bothering him a little bit.
Yes.
So if he was bothered by the neck in the second inning, we'll see whether it's giving him any issues here in the fourth. Swinging away, and he drives it hard to right field. And Grossman has the carom get away from him. And they'll hold Gonzalez at third base. And his neck and everything else about Jason Kipnis look perfectly healthy on that swing.
No, it helps where the location of that pitch was, too. So it's a double by Kipnis. Puts runners at second and third, nobody out. Slow breaking ball. Kipnis, good solid swing, hits it off the wall, gets by Grossman. And a ricochet. Robbie catching up to it. Gonzalez stays at third.
Marvin Hudson got about halfway to the mound. Jimenez said his piece, heads back. Alex Wimmers woke up in Pawtucket this morning and got here by mid-morning. And he's the first guy to warm up down in the Twins bullpen. Infield in, second and third, and nobody out. Daniel Robertson, the batter. Tapper to short, and Adrianza throws to first, and Robertson on one pitch is retired, one down. No reason to put the contact play on when Ramirez, one of the league's hottest hitters, is on deck. Ramirez with an opposite field home run in the first, and then a fly ball to right field in the second.
Might be the last hitter. Now Wilk will face. Encarnacion on deck.
You got a base open, but Wilk has walked Encarnacion twice already today. How many times am I going to do that? It's a glorious summer day, and I keep saying tonight.
It's because we play a lot of night games.
Had that excuse though in the Metrodome, but really don't have that excuse here. 1-0. 2-0.
Pitch number 90 coming. And intentional or not, Wilk's on the verge of issuing another walk. 2 walks in the first inning. A walk leading off the third. Green lighted, and it's fouled back. Cleveland's 2 hottest hitters hitting back to back. Ramirez in the box and Encarnacion on deck. Deep to right center field. Grossman back. And it's an extra base hit. And it will score 2 runs. And Ramirez makes it a 6-1 ball game. Tell you what, Ramirez showing some power the other way. His home run went that way. Right there, that ball was down. He just went and drove it off that wall. So Ramirez picking up a couple runs batted in with 3 in the ball game. Not a bad pitch, down and away, but just went down.
Didn't try to pull the ball.
Great wood on the great contact right there. And Grossman knows he cannot catch it. He has to play the carom. And Gonzalez and Kipnis score.
6-1, and Adam Wilk excused for the day. Presented by State Farm. Combine home and auto and see how much you can save. Former first-round draft pick Alex Wimmers, he was the #1 Twins pick back in 2010, and he is back with the ball club. He has had a very interesting last couple of weeks, just in terms of travel. Coming into a Twins game for the 6th time. Wimmers joined the team in Anaheim, went with the team to Seattle, flew down to San Francisco, then came to Minnesota, went to Scranton, took a bus to Rochester, took a bus to Pawtucket, was driven to Boston, and he caught a flight here today. That's just in the last 2 weeks. Encarnacion, the batter. Outside, ball 1.
Wimmers with a fastball, very good changeup, and a hard breaking ball.
Entering the game with 1 out in the 4th inning. This is the nightmarish outcome the Twins had to prepare for, which sent a very disappointed Ryan Presley back to Rochester, because the Twins got 10 outs from their starting pitcher in the first game of a doubleheader. And now the bullpen will have to pitch most of this game. Presley, after pitching a couple innings last night, wouldn't have been available to pitch in either game. And now Wimmers falls behind 3-0. Encarnacion has walked and scored twice already today. A 4-pitch walk, and he fills first base. And now Carlos Santana.
First baseman Carlos Santana.
All the pitches away.
Didn't look like he was too intent on throwing Encarnacion a strike. So now first base is filled, the double play is in order, and here's Carlos Santana. Santana 1 for 2 as a right-handed batter. Now he takes inside, and Wimmers has got to throw him strikes, and Jimenez will step out in front of the plate. Wimmers never did pitch for Rochester. He hasn't pitched in a few days, which strengthened his case to be a guy called up. Six straight out of the strike zone for Alex Wimmers.
Wimmers last year with the Twins, 16 appearances, 17 1/3 innings. He walked 11. So control has been an issue.
Lifted foul wide of third. Escobar near the tarp. Has no play. Mentioned Wimmers, the first-round draft pick for the Twins in 2010, and as you look at those first-round picks more closely this week, because the draft was held this week, it's been one of the issues for the Twins. They've not had their top draft picks, particularly on the pitching side, pan out for them. Cole Stewart, we mentioned, has had some health issues and control issues. Tyler Jay, drafted in the first round 2 years ago, has pitched 2 innings this year and had obviously some health issues. He was converted from a starter to a reliever to help him stay healthy, and it hasn't worked out very well.
How'd that work out?
Two and two. Pulled on the ground. Vargas flips to Wimmers. For out number 2, the runners move up to second and third.
Well, second out of the inning. Vargas going to his right, smothering that ball. Gets Santana with Wilmers covering first.
Austin Jackson will bat 0 for 1 with a walk.
Right fielder Austin Jackson.
Outside, ball 1. Paul Molitor talking about the scramble they've had to perform making room for players. Wimmer's an example of it, to get them onto the 40-man roster when they weren't on the 40-man roster as recently as March and April, when guys like Trevor May, who has been hurt, some other veterans, Santiago Hughes, have been hurt, and you don't have built-in reinforcements, and you got a juggling act, and that's what the Twins are executing here in this 4-game series. 2-1 to Jackson. Talked to Trevor today. Says it's already been 3 months, and he's very eager to start picking up a baseball in about a month. There's a called strike 2-2. He did a bullpen session today. He said nothing with a throwing motion, but to keep his legs, you know, in footwork and all that, striding and all that.
Run, run, run. That's what you can do when you're rehabbing. I went through it.
2-2.
Keep your legs strong.
To Austin Jackson. Wimmer's trying to keep the Twins reasonably close. And he strikes out Jackson.
Good changeup.
Wimmers comes in, strands a couple of runners, but the Indians get 2 more. You're watching Twins baseball presented by State Farm.
The 4th inning, talking to Brian Dozier earlier today, says every clubhouse has your leaders, you have your rookies, but if you are really lucky, you have glue. It's the guy who brings everybody together. For the Twins, he says that's absolutely Eduardo Escobar. Dozier says that he's so valuable that when you add the skills, what he brings to the table in the field, mixed with who he is in the clubhouse, he actually becomes an everyday player, even though he might not be in the lineup. And there is nobody happier for how Eduardo Escobar has been playing at the plate than Brian Brian Dozier. We know the two of them are very close friends, and he couldn't be prouder of his friend. Guys.
Yeah, thank you. You know, when Escobar first came from Chicago and he left Chicago, that was almost the same thing that was said by the White Sox. They missed this guy. They missed his leadership in the clubhouse.
One hopper to Ramirez. And Robin Ventura said the clubhouse was never the same. Came to the Twins in the Francisco Liriano trade. Grossman retired quickly to start the bottom of the fourth.
Back in 2012.
Kenny Vargas will bat.
And you need those guys in the clubhouse. You know, it's a long season. Of course, spring training this year was early because of the WBC. You need guys that just come to the ballpark and try to find the happiness of playing baseball. And, you know, Escobar, one of those guys.
Strike one. Vargas hit a ground ball to Ramirez his first time up. Merritt cruising along. Twins bunched 3 hits together and used an error to score a run in the third. Had the tying run at the plate. Merritt got a big double play grounder. Over the outside corner, 1-2. Twins had a left-handed pitcher, Jim Merritt, back in 65 to 1968.
And he wasn't an overpowering pitcher, what I remember.
2-2.
Merritt reminds me a little bit of Frank Tanana when Tanana's career was coming toward an end. I mean, he was a hard thrower when he was with the Angels and had some surgeries that he kind of became a finesse type pitcher.
And Vargas called out on what looked to be the same pitch that rung up Buxton at the end of the second inning. 2 down.
Merritt picking up his second strikeout.
That pitch was outside. It wasn't even that close. You can understand why Vargas didn't swing at it. Twins fans, if you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app and take Fox Sports North and Twins baseball with you wherever you go. Here's Rosario. Hit a smash against Merritt. It deflected to Ramirez, who threw him out on a close play. And there's the outside corner. Strike one. Been involved in this game for, well, professionally since 1969. Has there ever been a time when pitching is so much in short supply across the game?
No, I've really noticed it over the last couple of years, Dick. My goodness. You know, the Tommy John surgery. Oh, Merritt, as we break down his delivery right here, working off that rubber, pushes off that rubber very nicely. Quick arm that comes through, and a good follow through.
Tap foul. Still 1-2 to Rosario.
You know what? And I'm going to be old school right here, and I apologize if somebody out there is in the new era, but we never did the heavy weights. You know, we pitched every 4th day. We were out throwing that baseball all the time. We were running a lot. And it's a different breed in today's game.
Outside, 2-2.
You know, complete games are a thing of the past. The pitch count came into effect in the minor leagues. Everybody, all the scouts have guns, so pitchers want to see if they can hit 100 miles an hour when maybe they top out at 82.
Flip to left and down for a hit. And Rosario's aboard. That'll bring up Buxton.
And then you see a guy like Merritt that realizes he can't do that, so he's got to hit his spots. He's got to do the right things to win a ball game. He won his first major league game last year against the Kansas City Royals in KC. Worked 5 innings. That's the longest outing he's had at this level, but this is only his second regular season start. Good piece of hitting by Rosario. That's what you're talking about earlier. Hit what they give you.
Especially with 2 strikes, just put the ball in play, and sometimes good things happen. Here's Buxton, called out on strikes on a pitch that looked outside his first time up. And he strokes it to left, a base hit. So now with 2 outs, the Twins getting some guys on base, and we'll see what Adrianza can do.
Twins picked up 3 hits in last inning in the 3rd inning. And with 2 outs here, Rosario just slaps it to left field. Breaking ball looked at left up, and Buxton took advantage of that and hit it sharply in the left.
Kind of a close call there. Merritt threw the ball in towards the catcher Perez, but Adrianza didn't know it was coming, and it nearly hit the batter. Adrianza with a single leading off the 3rd inning. Couple men on there, and the Twins, if they're going to get back into this game, need somebody to hit one in the gap or over the fence. Adrianza taps it foul. And Adrianza, in fact, the ball may have hit his bat. Merritt said, "Hey, sorry, it's on me." Twins got a run, had runners at 1st and 2nd, and 1 out in the 3rd inning.
I like to see a gapper right here. Watch Buxton run. Good speed on the base pass.
Outside.
Zimmer in center field. Playing a very shallow center field, as Jackson is in right.
Adrianza with a single his first time up. He has a dozen hits and 3 doubles. No triples, no home runs. Inside, 2-1. Two and 1 to Ehire Adrianza. 3-1. Jimenez on deck. Seems like we've said this a lot lately. Twins are down by a bunch, but it's still early. I think we said that just about every game in the Seattle series, and again last night.
Merritt has not walked anybody yet.
To the gap in left center field, down for a hit. Scoring is Rosario. Buxton will score. Adrianza gets the extra base hit to drive in 2.
There's the gapper I was looking for to watch Buxton run. Adrianza picks up his 2nd hit, driving in a couple runs on a 3-1 fastball right there. Good swing, good solid swing. Finding the gap in left center. I think that's my first call of the year. And Buxton's speed scores from first base. And it's a 6-3 ball game.
Well, nicely done to you, but more importantly, nicely done to Adrianza.
Amen. I get 1%. He gets 99.
Mickey Callaway to the mound with Merritt struggling in each of the last 2 innings. The last 10 plate appearances. Twins have 6 hits. And Jimenez, who kind of had his at-bat taken away from him. A check swing, bouncer to first. Zach McAllister, part of another very good Cleveland bullpen. The first arm firing up out in left center field. Thursday, of course, Jimenez had his first 2 home run game.
Yeah. That coming against the Seattle Mariners.
3-run bomb and then a fly ball just over the wall and left.
That hit the foul pole. Doink.
Twins will take a hit to the outfield here. Jimenez takes outside ball 1. One and 0 in a 6-3 game. 2-0. And the strike zone tightening up a little bit for Ryan Merritt. There's an off-speed pitch over for a strike. 2-1. 3 straight 2-out hits. Couple of runs for the Twins. Looking for more. Three and one. Dozier on deck. This might be the last man Merritt faces, whether he retires Jimenez or not. Jimenez reaches. Dozier would represent the tying run. 3-1.
See if he gets a fastball. He does. Outer half of the plate.
Just from up here, it doesn't look like those pitches are strikes. We saw the one to Vargas was about 4 inches outside. Jimenez thought it was ball 4. Take a look on Fox Tracks. Yeah, see, it's not even close to being a strike. Full count to Jimenez.
Sure they're going to go away again.
Wrapped to third. And Ramirez fires across to end the inning. But the Twins string 3 hits together after the second out. Back in the ball game at 6-3. .6-3 ball game. Beautiful afternoon for our Pepsi fans of the game to watch Twins baseball. Beautiful late spring day. And the Twins trying to crawl out of an early deficit. It's 6-3 as we move to the 5th inning. Bradley Zimmer will lead things off. Ehire Adrianza at short after a 2-run double.
Having a good day at the plate. Single and then that 2-run double.
Zimmer, Perez, and Gonzalez facing Alex Wimmers, who finished up the 4th inning and now will be asked to pitch at least through the 5th, maybe even the 6th. There's ball 1.
This is an important inning right here, you know. Get back into the ball game. You want your starter to go out there or your pitcher to go out there, put a 0 on the board as quick as possible.
Zimmer's driven in 3 of the runs with a 2-run single and an RBI double. And Wimmers misses again, 2-0. Wimmers not on the 40-man roster coming out of spring training. He had a good spring training, but wasn't on the 40-man roster. Had to be put on it to make his first call up this year. Swing and a miss, 2-1. So he's been back and forth from Rochester to here and back again. And I think of the Twins, if they remain in the race and are looking for reinforcements after the All-Star break, the help might come from the AA roster, not the AAA roster.
Right.
There's some guys there that have helped Jake Mauer win the Northern Division of the Southern League first half championship. Steven Gonsalves was hurt early with some shoulder problems. He's come back. He's pitched pretty well.
They got a starter down there, Fernando Romero, that I saw pitch last year in Fort Myers. Got pretty good stuff. He's 6-5 and 12 starts down in AA. Good 3.27 ERA.
71 2/3 innings, 67 hits. Felix Jorge, 7-1 with an ERA of 3. Pulled foul. And the closer down there, John Curtis. Torrey Hunter said he has seen him, and he's been outstanding down there.
24 innings, 12 hits allowed, 34 strikeouts.
Unhittable. 0.75 earned run average. Well, now a leadoff walk here in the 5th, issued by Wimmers, and Zimmer's been on board all 3 times.
Wimmer's second walk.
Join us Saturday, August 5th for the Women's Baseball Experience. Twins clinicians and members of the coaching staff will be providing instruction here at Target Field. Participants will get the full experience of what it's like being a major league player. To learn more and register today, visit twinsbaseball.com/women's clinic. No, Wimmers walked the first man he faced. Now walks the leadoff man here in the 5th. That brings up Robert Perez, who has struck out twice.
Well, would help make his day if he could hit a ground ball. Get a double play. Perez has hit it into only one double play.
The Indians made it to, and again almost won the World Series, showing remarkable depth and resiliency, and that included the catching core. Yan Gomes is clearly a key guy for the Indians, but they had to play most of the season last year without him. He got hurt here at Target Field and wasn't available to help in the postseason. There goes Zimmer, and the pitch lifted to left center field. Rosario with the catch, 1 away.
You can already see that Zimmer likes to run. Stole a base in the first inning. Got a great jump right there. Except for Perez popped it up the left. In the minor leagues, over 100 stolen bases.
There's Gomes. He'll probably catch the nightcap tonight. And even in the pitching department, you know, Salazar wasn't able to help them at all in the postseason last year. And yet there they were, thanks to a great bullpen, almost stealing the World Series from the Cubs. And they pitch out. Zimmer wasn't going. Gonzalez with 2 singles pulled to left field. Wimmers giving up an opponent batting average of .259, but the walks continue to be an issue. They'll try to pitch around a leadoff walk here in the 5th.
Zimmer only in his 4th year of pro ball, 108 stolen bases in the minor leagues. And he's 7 out of 8 so far up here.
Closer play, but he got back. And Paul Molitor says, hey, we might want to look at that. So we'll have a little delay here while Sean Harlan threads the videotape through his machine. I'm just kidding. It's all.
Getting that right hand. Looked like he got it back on the bag before Vargas could apply the tag.
No challenge. And the count remains 1-0 after the pitch out. Do you like pitching out? Did you, I mean, did it bother you at all?
No,
okay.
no. I mean, it's coming from the dugout. So if they're seeing something, maybe stealing signs, yeah, it's going to only help me.
Jimenez backhands one out of the dirt. But pitchers are always talking about the importance of throwing strike one. In this case, they called for a pitch out on the first pitch, and now it's 2-0. And
what you want to do is get back to 1-1 rather than 2-0.
Gonzalez hitting ninth, but he's got 2 hits today.
And you can't worry that much about the runner. You want to hold him, but you got to get the hitter at home.
And that's wide now. 3-0.
You know, good base stealers. Ricky Henderson was on many times against me, and you know, you throw over, you're wasting your time sometimes, because if he wants to steal, he's going to steal.
That'd be a way to speed up the game, wouldn't it? If somebody's going to steal second anyway, just like they do for the intentional pass, just
go ahead,
make the gesture, go ahead and go to second.
Go ahead.
We don't have to throw over all the time.
Don't waste my time.
No, another walk, and Wimmers has walked 3 of the 6 men he's faced. Top of the order now in Kipnis. Kipnis cracked a double off the fence in right his last time up.
Now with the speedy Zimmer at second base, one of the middle infielders will have to play a little bit closer to him. Assuming it's Adrianza that's going to kind of backpedal behind him.
Keep honest.
Yep.
Try to anyway. Ball 1. And Jimenez has a little something extra to say to Wimmers. Now getting everybody's attention, giving signs in the event the runners take off.
In case of the bunt too. Escobar playing a deep third base.
Think that Kipnis would be bunting with 1 out, but speed on the bases. We've seen Gonzalez and Zimmer both run well. 2-0.
He tried to change up right there and missed high. Sometimes what you want to do with a good runner at second base is take your mind off of going home. Just pick up that left leg and spin it around to second, just to let them know that you have that move. Right now Wimmer's thinking more about throwing a strike than anything else.
Changeup gets a swing and a miss. Twins had a rally killed earlier today with a double play grounder. Wimmers would love to get one here after issuing a pair of walks. Called strike 2 and 2.
Buddy Boshear's getting loose.
Wimmers has thrown 30 pitches, just 12 strikes. To center, Buxton retreating on the warning track, makes the catch. Lead runner Zimmer will go to third base, but now 2 are down. And that'll bring up Daniel Robertson. Robertson is 0 for 3. 3 ground ball outs. Indians have scored 6 times. They've left 6 men on. And all 6 men that have been left on in scoring position. So as bad as it is, it could have been worse. Zimmer at third. Gonzalez at first with 2 down. On the ground, Adrianza fires to second, and they get the out there. And Wimmer survives a pair of walks in the 5th. Twins trying to climb out of a hole here. It'll be Brian Dozier leading off the 5th when we come back.
Inside the Minnesota Late Lottery winner's circle with the birthday girl. Elizabeth Dale celebrating her 100th birthday today with a huge group of family and friends. I'm here with her son, Lowell. Lowell, this is a very impressive group, and I hear they came in from all over the world.
Well, that's basically right. You know, most of us are from southern Minnesota, Rochester, Conger, Albert Lee. But my son flew in special from Australia just to be here for this, as did my son from Denver.
And Elizabeth has been a lifelong Twins fan, correct?
Right from the very beginning. She went to multiple games up at Old Met Stadium and actually met Harmon Killebrew, has a picture with him from way back in the mid-'60s, has his autograph. So special.
That's awesome. Well, we're going to give her $100 worth of scratch-off tickets from the Minnesota State Lottery. And Dick, as I send it back up to you, you actually have a connection with this family. Your father was their pastor growing up. So I'm going to get some stories about you running around the church back in the day.
Oh, my.
Very nice. Elizabeth, happy 100. How about that?
1-1 to Brian Dozier.
Yeah, Zach McAllister coming in out of the bullpen, making his 23rd relief appearance. Hard throwing right-hander.
Caught by Kipnis. A bullet to center, and Kipnis speared it for out number 1.
Boy, had him played perfectly up the middle, and Kipnis, sore neck and all, leaped as high as he could as Brian hit this ball right on the button. Kipnis leaping up and snaring that line drive.
1 down. And that'll bring up Eduardo Escobar. Strike on the outside corner. Escobar with a single and 2 trips. Yeah, if they hadn't had Kipnis placed exactly where he was, that's a line drive single to center. As it was, he had to make a big leap to get the ball. 2 strikes. 0-2. Foul back. Twins have bunched their hits together. 3 of them in the third to score a run. 3 of them in the fourth to score a couple more.
Yeah, there are the numbers on McAllister in his 7th season with the Indians, originally signed by the Yankees back in 2006. Came up with the Indians in 2011.
Sharply hit. Kipnis with another fine play. 2 down. Backhanding a one-hop smash for the second out.
Escobar continues to swing a good bat. A little short hop right there. Kipnis, so far this has been his inning. Nice play.
If I'm Sano, I'm just going to go, look, I'll hit it in the seats, and Kipnis can't catch it. Sano's hit 2 balls hard up the middle. One of them was fielded and started a double play, but Sano checks his swing. Ball 1. Sano 1 for 7 against McAllister, but the 1 was clobbered over the fence. Big swing and a miss on the breaking ball.
In a good spot, down and away. McAllister, big guy, 6'6", about 240. Did some starting for the Indians. Now kind of one of the long guys out of that bullpen. Good fastball there at 96.
One and 2 to Sano. 2-2. This is kind of the formula that the Indians used a lot in the postseason. They just got 4 innings from their starting pitcher, but yet they've got a 6-3 lead, turning it over to the likes of McAllister, Shaw, Miller, Allen later on, and Sano on 5 pitches on a check swing, strikes out. A 1-2-3 fifth, and the inning highlighted by 2 fine plays by Jason Kipnis. In baseball today, Matt Davidson with another home run. He's hit 5 in the last 6 games. And the White Sox, riding a nice outing by Mike Pelfrey, have beaten the Blue Jays. And if this score holds, the White Sox will be just 4 games out. The American League Central is a very compacted division. The Twins have been in first place now for 36 games, hoping to make it 37 by the end of the day. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-1. And the Indians hoping to crawl into a first place tie after this game, but look how tight the division is. The Twins are in first place, but if they lose this game, they'll be 4 games out of last place. It's just remarkable that there hasn't been more separation within the American League Central. And the National League Central is kind of the same story.
Right.
2-1 from Wimmers to Jose Ramirez. Well, Wimmers has walked 3 men since entering the game. He's faced 8 batters, and he pitched around a leadoff walk in the 5th. Doesn't want to do it again in the 6th. Hit well to right field. And gone, a home run. He fell behind, and he gave a really hot hitter a hittable pitch. And it's a leadoff home run for the Indians.
Well, he hit a home run as a right-handed hitter in the 1st inning. Here as a left-handed hitter. He hits his 2nd home run of the ball game, number 11 on the season, and he's driven in 4 of the 7 runs.
Paul Molitor's got to make another pitching change. Wimmers is only able to get 5 outs from 10 batters, 9 batters, I guess.
Yeah, change up right there. And Ramirez, who in last night's ball game picked up 3 hits, has 3 hits here this afternoon in game 1.
Wimmers threw 37 pitches and only 16 strikes, and ultimately falling behind Ramirez cost him and his team a run here, and it'll be Buddy Boshears coming in to pitch to Encarnacion. Confused about what exactly to do.
Yeah, what do we do? What do we do? Brothers saying no,
you do.
no,
you throw it.
No, come on. Mom says, hey, you know what? I'll buy you one in a pro shop. Go ahead and throw it by.
I would never do that. Are you kidding me? If I had caught somebody's home run ball.
But look, they're waving. They're on TV.
There you go. Nice job. Well, here's Encarnacion. See if Boshears can throw him strikes. Encarnacion has walked 3 times.
Boshears has pitched well since being recalled. Total of 12 innings, making his 9th relief appearance. Given up only 9 hits with 9 strikeouts, a couple walks.
Encarnacion was the first man Wimmers faced, and he walked him to fill first base and then got the next 2 guys. Popped up, and a foul ball out of play, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, Buddy Boshears straight over the top fastball, not overpowering, big curveball, and then a changeup.
Two strikes.
One of 3 lefties in that bullpen.
Indians have scored 4 different innings now. 1 and 2.
Yeah, Buddy Boshear's kind of working out of the stretch type of delivery. Straight over the top. And that breaking ball right there was just a little bit low. There's a changeup right there.
That's 1 and 2. High and deep to right center field. Grossman back now on the warning track, makes a running catch right before he hit the wall. That ball almost carried out, but it's a deep fly out for the first out of the 6th inning. That'll bring up Carlos Santana.
Jimenez out to Boshears wants Jimenez to come out, say something to him.
Twins got 10 outs from their starting pitcher, Adam Wilk. They ended up getting 5 outs from their first reliever, Wimmers. And to get Wilk on the roster, the Twins sent out Ryan Presley. He's not available. Wimmers has the 26th man added to the roster. So after the doubleheader, the Twins will have another move to make. They may make a move between games. 1 strike. And now a ball. Talking about players changing positions. Ramirez was an outfielder, then a shortstop, then a third baseman. Chisenhall was a third baseman, now moved into the outfield. How about this guy? He was a catcher. He had some concussion issues. They moved him to third base for a while. DH, now settling in at first base.
He's doing a good job at really. He was a good receiver, if I remember right, and then did a good job at third. Now over at first.
Ooh, where was it? Santana ducked away and looked like it had the corner, but it's ball 3.
After a couple of change-ups and breaking balls, Boshears wanted to go hard in, and he did, and Santana kind of backed away from him.
3-1. And another walk.
7th walk that the pitching staff has given the Indians here this afternoon.
In 5 1/3 innings. Target Field's become the top choice for families throughout Twins territory, celebrating all kinds of special occasions. You can schedule your special event in a fully catered Target Field suite available for groups of 16 to 150 or more. Learn more at twinsbaseball.com/groups to schedule your suite here at Target Field. Here's Austin Jackson outside, ball 1. Jackson drew a walk, hit a fly out to right field, and then struck out to end the 4th. And now Boshears is having a hard time throwing strikes. He's thrown a dozen pitches and only 5 strikes. Driven to right, and Grossman will play it on a hop. Rounding second, going to third is Santana. Jackson with a sharp single, and now runners at first and third with one down.
Yeah, pitch away. Jackson went with it, picks up his first hit. And a 10th hit for the Indians. First hit that Boshiers has given up. But runners at first and third with one out. Well, two guys have knocked in all the runs. Ramirez has driven in 4 thanks to 2 home runs and a 2-run double. And Bradley Zimmer has knocked in 3.
And he comes up with runners on the corners. Infield in halfway. They'll take a ground ball hit at somebody and try to get out of the inning with just 1 run allowed. Ball 1. 14 pitches for Boshiers, but just 6 strikes. Way out in front. 1-1. Jackson can still run well at first. Zimmer up there with almost a wide open stance. Double play grounder maybe. 1 and out at second. Adrianza lost the ball in the exchange. Another run comes in. Santana scoring from third, 2 away.
Yeah, probably no chance to get Zimmer at first base, and Adrianza has to come in on the infield side to get that throw from Dozier. So Bryan going to his left, spins, and to throw a little bit on the infield side. And in the exchange, the ball is dropped. So Zimmer picks up an RBI, his 4th of the ball game, and it's 8-3.
Here's Roberto Perez. This run, the most recent run scoring, charged to Boshiers because of the walk. And now up and in, ball 1 to Perez.
After 7 walks, 3 have scored. Tying a career high with the 4 runs batted in. Just in his rookie season.
Swing and a miss. Well, now your comment was after Perez struck out to end the 3rd inning, you wanted Perez up more often, and now here he is with 2 outs again.
Well, somebody's got to make the outs, or we wouldn't be here in this.
We'll never get the second game started.
In the 6th inning.
1-1. There's strike 2. Perez struck out to end the 1st. He struck out to end the 3rd. He made the 1st out of the 5th with a fly ball to left.
Oh, pretty good pitch.
Jimenez thought so too. Shoved the catcher's mitt back toward the pitcher as if to say attaboy.
Well, curveball right here, and that's where he wanted a curveball, but Perez didn't go after it.
2-2. Three and 2, and Zimmer will take off from first now with 2 down.
Yeah, Vargas, I'm sure, will play behind him, but it looks like he's holding him on right now.
And Perez strikes out to end the 6th. Cleveland scores 2 more. They lead at 8-3, and you're watching Twins baseball presented by State Farm.
Gotta get them up more.
The #1 selling brand in the Twin Cities. And by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. 8-3. Twins trying to draw closer, but giving back runs in the top half of the innings. And Robbie Grossman will lead off the 6th against McAllister.
McAllister starting his 2nd inning of relief, a 1-2-3 5th inning with a strikeout. Through 12 pitches in that 1st inning, 9 of them strikes.
Grossman takes a strike, 1-1. Grossman, Vargas, and Rosario against McAllister. Cleveland only got 4 innings from its starting pitcher, but Ryan Merritt pitched deeper and much better than Adam Wilk did here today. Wilk going just 3 1/3 innings. Terry Francona likes to use his bullpen anyway.
Yes, he
so
does.
a split doubleheader is a perfect day for him. Swing and a miss, 2-2 to Grossman. And Grossman swings through a 95-mile-per-hour fastball, 1 down.
And McAllister picks up his 2nd straight strikeout. Struck out Sano to end the 5th inning.
Vargas is 0 for 2, a grounder to 3rd, and he was called out on strikes.
Well, it looked like a fastball had some movement on it, outer half of the plate. McAllister, hard throwing righty, 95.
Fox Tracks presented by Carrier. 1 down in the 6th, and now Vargas. Twins are 19-10 this year in games where they score first, but that's been a big problem, particularly lately here at home. Starting pitching hasn't been very competitive in most of the starts at home lately. The Twins could use a big pick-me-up tonight from Adalberto Mejia.
The Twins are 14-21 at home.
1-1 to Vargas, and a ground ball right over the bag, but right to Santana. 2 down.
The bullpen for the Cleveland Indians, best in the American League, combined 2.67.
And as we said last night, the Indians starting ERA is actually higher than the Twins. And if you're surprised about that, you probably shouldn't be, because I mean, the Indians didn't get to Game 7 of the World Series with great starting pitching. They had Corey Kluber, and then it was pretty much duct tape after that. But they had the lights out bullpen. Trevor Bauer will start tomorrow. They were in a playoff game last year for the Indians. He pitched what, 3 2/3 innings, gave up 3 runs and came off the field tipping his cap to the crowd. He's stuck it to the Twins a couple times this year, though. He's had a hot and cold season. Twins hope that they get the cold version tomorrow. 1-1 to Rosario. Now 2-1.
Rosario with a base hit in his last at bat in the 4th inning. Flared a base hit to the left field. Off of the starter Ryan Merritt.
Inside, 3-1. And Rosario takes a walk. Get Buxton to the plate. Buxton with a single and a run scored in the 4th inning. And Mickey Callaway to the mound. A long afternoon. Game about 2.5 hours old. We're just wrapping up the 6th inning. Second game will start, if this one's finished, around 7 o'clock. 7:10.
Well, at least there won't be a big break between the games.
This is the scheduled game. The makeup game from the April rainout is tonight. Inside, nearly hit him. Ball 1. And assuming we complete the ball game tonight and the doubleheader, the Twins will be caught up at home. They still have doubleheaders to play in Kansas City 2 weeks from today. That is a foul ball. A crisp foul ball off the bat of Buxton. 1-1. And the other doubleheader will be in Chicago toward the end of August.
Boy, that ball didn't miss by much by going over that third base bag.
But it was foul.
Just foul. Buxton got a base hit in his last at bat, hit it sharply into left field.
One and one. Breaking ball hit a long way to left. If it's fair, it's gone, but it is foul. Buxton barreling up back-to-back swings, but both of them pulled foul.
And that's a breaking ball right here. Left up a little bit. Byron put a good swing on it, but it just hooked foul.
Just a long strike, right?
That's what they say.
1-2. That one fouled and then hit somebody's equipment down there and came all the way into the second deck. That deflect off of Perez?
Sure sounded like it. Yes, that is a baseball. Take a picture of it. Hold it the right way now. She's working on a circle changeup.
1-2. Outside. It's almost the exact same pitch that Merritt struck Buxton out on in the second inning. 2-2. And that one rings him up.
He went back out there and got the strike.
No hits, a walk, left the board, and we head to the seventh. It's 8-3 Cleveland. First inning damage in this homestand.
The Indians doing some damage early. Ramirez's home run made it a 1-0 ball game. Zimmer a 2-run single. Twins were down quickly 3-0. Adrianza in the fourth inning drove in a couple runs with an RB 2-run double. But the Indians and Ramirez with his second home run of the ball game.
So we head to the seventh inning, and Roberto Perez conveniently struck out to end the sixth. That means Eric Gonzalez will lead off the seventh. Strike one.
Gonzalez with an infield base hit in the second, a base hit in the fourth, and then he walked in his last at bat in the fifth.
And now 1-1.
Boshears in his second inning of relief.
On the outside corner, 1-2.
Marvin Hudson definitely calling that ball off the plate a little bit. I think that pitch to Buxton looked like it was a bit outside.
Bouncer to short, Adrianza. Over to first, one down.
Got rid of it quickly. Well, Gonzalez retired for the first time here this afternoon.
And it'll bring up Kipnis. Kipnis with a double and a run scored, also dropped down a sacrifice bunt. One of the reasons some people have speculated that the Indians and the Cubs are off to a slow start this year. The Cubs entering play today as a 500 ball club. The Indians 2 games above. Is the World Series hangover. For lack of a better term, people seem to think now that teams that play into November, just the season ending later than everybody else, and then you compress the off-season commitments that players make, teams make for the players. There's just a lot of activity in the off-season. I don't know that that was ever something that anyone considered for the Pirates after the '79 season or the Twins after the '87 season. There was no such thing. You didn't sense anything like a World Series hangover, did you?
No, I don't believe so.
Now, you might have been hungover part of the time, but it had nothing to do with the World Series.
No. You woke up about spring training time after celebrating.
Well, if there is such a thing as that, then I think we probably deserve an even a bigger tip of the cap to the Kansas City Royals, who got there, lost it, and then went back and got there again and won it. They didn't seem to have a World Series hangover. And as we tried to.
Well, sometimes, Dick, and I don't mean to interrupt you right there, sometimes when you lose a World Series, you get the taste of it. And, you know, and then Kansas City did, and they knew had been there the year before. Let's win it this time.
You can understand, you know, you play the games in October and into November, and what could be a bigger baseball game than Game 7 of World Series. But then the next year you start from scratch. You've got to be better than the other teams in your division, other teams in your league. Kipnis drops a base hit into right field.
Kipnis gets his second hit of the ball game.
And Bouchiers will pitch with Kipnis aboard and 1 down. And that'll bring up Daniel Robertson. Robertson 0 for 4. 4 ground ball outs. Fastball, strike 1. Robertson with 3 ground balls to short and 1 to Vargas at first. Runner goes. Jimenez's throw in time to get him. And Kipnis heads to the dugout. That was a good throw and maybe a better tag by Dozier.
Yeah, it looked like Kipnis got a great jump, but Jimenez comes in and throws a P to second and a quick tag.
Kipnis comes off the field, but the Indians are taking a look at it here.
Ryan sweeping right there. Quick tag.
Kipnis knew. And got him on the knee before the foot hit the bag. Dan Bellino, the second base umpire, with a good call. 2 strikes. And a ball flared over the Twins dugout. Belisle getting loose. Twins might need, well, almost certainly will need at least 1 more relief pitcher just to get through this game. Down 8-3. They need a big inning. They had plenty of them in the one Seattle game. Oblivious to the score, I'll bet.
Oh, baby.
Check swing. And it's 1-2. Vargas with a nice pickup. He goes to the bag. 3 men back. And a scoreless 7th for Cleveland.
break. Mike Pelfrey, 6 very good innings. And Chicago ends up beating Toronto 5-2. Corey Bellinger, who had 3 home runs against the Cleveland Indians, 41st run batted in of the season for the Dodgers. And Trey Turner, 3rd leadoff home run of the season. Nationals lead the Eastern Division by 10 games. They're leading today over the Mets. Nationals have a very comfortable lead over Miami. 10 games out, the Mets 10.5. Buddy Boshiers worked a couple innings talking to Neil Allen.
We'll see if the bottom of the order can get something going for the Twins. Down 5 runs. Adrianza with a couple of hits, a single and a double, and he takes strike 1.
And Brian Shaw out there again. I think he has it in his contract where he has to pitch at least half the games in a season. This is his 33rd relief appearance. He worked in yesterday's ball game, an inning and 2/3 through 21 pitches.
Hacked foul.
Retired all 5 batters he was asked to fake, get out.
The real challenge will be in game 2.
Well, he'll come
if the Indians can actually play a game without him. 2 strikes.
I mentioned last night, nobody has appeared in more games than Brian Shaw since 2013 when he first came up with the Indians.
And Adrianza with a defensive hack stays alive. Indians 9 outs from pulling into a first place tie with the Twins, with the night game coming up tonight. And a big swing and a foul back.
Shaw coming over from the Arizona Diamondbacks. He was up with the Diamondbacks in 2011 and 12, but when he joined the Indians, he was put in that bullpen. 2013, 70 games he has appeared in. 2014, 80. That led the American League. In 2015, 74. Last year, 75. So he's definitely been a workhorse.
It's good to have guys who not only can tolerate the workload but seem to relish it. And I think Shaw fits in that category.
29 years old, throws across his body, throws a lot of cut fastballs, almost like a hard slider. There's a straight fastball just missing.
Tried to hit the corner but missed. 1-2. Check swing. And home plate umpire Marvin Hudson said he went. There's a throw to first.
Yeah, there's that little cutter that broke down and in. So Shaw picks up a strikeout.
1 down on the 7th. Let's go to Andre Martin.
Well, guys, despite the outcome, Chris Gimenez has such fond memories of the World Series last year, but his son enjoyed the series even more, and that's because his son Jace is actually a huge Cubs fan. Now, he's only 5 years old, but Jace saw the Cubs mascot about 3 years ago and was immediately sold. So much so that he spent the whole series running around the house singing the Go Cubs Go song, much to Chris's dismay. But he is such a good sport that last month when the Twins were in Chicago, Chris went and bought him some Cubs World Series gear to bring home to his son. Guys.
Well, Gimenez on a dribbler to first is retired.
It's the second time in the game he had kind of a check swing. He did that in his first at bat.
So he kind of feels like he's had just one at bat here where he's actually taken a full pass at the ball. Yep. Second time this has happened.
Yeah, kind of held up a little bit right there. And again, the ball hit the first base. That being Santana.
2 down in the 7th, and now Brian Dozier. Dozier with an RBI single to right center field, and then he blistered a line drive up the middle, but right where Kipnis was standing. Now with a harder thrower on the mound, Indians are not playing Brian up the middle like they were in his first 3 at bats. Kipnis got a ground ball up the middle in the first inning. Over the inside corner, 1-1. Brian Dozier still in close contact with Trevor Plouffe, who today, after being designated for assignment the other day, Trevor Plouffe was dealt to the Tampa Bay Rays for cash considerations. So we will see Trevor perhaps when we go to St. Petersburg.
It's in September, I believe.
It is Labor Day and then beyond. That's to the right field corner, a foul ball, and back into the seats. Two and two. And another foul ball. I would guess if the Twins don't turn this game around, McAllister would be the pitcher of record for the Indians in getting the win, since the starter went just 4 innings.
McAllister 2 shutout innings.
It's the official scorer's discretion that determines these things.
Yeah, not too often does Terry Francona go with Shaw more than 1 inning.
Right.
Fifth time today that the Cleveland's pitching staff has had a 3-ball count. The Twins pitching staff 15 times.
Foul tip. Perez hangs on, and that wraps up a 1-2-3 7th. You're watching Twins baseball presented by State Farm.
Sports Update. Don't go anywhere because there's more Twins baseball on Fox Sports North tonight. Join us for Game 2 of this doubleheader. The Twins and the Cleveland Indians. Our Game 2 coverage begins at 6:30 on Fox Sports North.
8-3 the score here. The Indians are threatening to go 5-0 against the Twins here at Target Field. When the series played at Cleveland earlier this year, the Twins took 2 out of 3 there. So there has been no home field advantage in this season series.
Matt Belisle coming into the ball game. He last worked on Wednesday, a shutout inning against the Seattle Mariners, making his 28th relief appearance.
Ramirez fouls it back.
Yeah, Ramirez with 2 home runs as a right-handed hitter in the first inning, a left-handed hitter in the 6th inning. First time in his young career he's had a home run in the same game from both sides of the plate.
9th Indian to do it. 11th overall, 11th time that it's happened. Lindor did it a couple of years ago. 1 down. And that'll bring up Encarnacion. Encarnacion has walked 3 times and hit a warning track fly ball to right. You know, I mentioned something the other day about the World Series hangover, and I remember how the '88 Twins went, but how did the 1980 Pirates do after winning the World Series in '79?
We did okay. We
didn't get to the playoffs.
Yeah, no.
On the outside corner, strike 1.
It's tough to repeat.
Well, we tried to make the point last night that the Indians is ball flared behind first. That drops for a hit, and Encarnacion will be satisfied with a stand-up single. A 1-out hit here in the 8th inning. That the Indians really aren't far off their pace of last year. They're just 3 games behind their pace of last year.
Take a look at the pitch. Little flare down that right field line. Encarnacion picks up his first hit.
We'll bring up Santana. And it was proven in '87 certainly, and several years since then, that it's a whole new season once you get there. Whether the Indians win 95 games or 85 games and win the division, once they're in the playoffs, all that matters, it's the start of a new season. You guys got in, and as Gary Gaetti said, we got in the tournament, and we won the tournament at the end. You beat the Tigers, you beat the Cardinals. Strike over the inside corner, 0-2.
Yeah, 1980, the Pirates. We were 83 and 79. We finished 3rd.
Okay.
In the Eastern Division National League.
To left field and fairly deep, but Rosario's there for the catch, 2 away. Tomorrow, the final round of the U.S. Open. The world's greatest players are battling to be crowned America's champion in golf.
Or Sergio.
And 117th U.S. Open continues tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central on Fox, streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
Was it Casey that led yesterday? Paul Casey? Patrick Reed tied with, 2, 4, 6, 7 of them tied.
Lonnie
told Garcia, Sergio Garcia's -2. So he's going to have a good day tomorrow.
Lonnie Chisenhall hitting for Austin Jackson. Nice pickup by Vargas, and he'll go to the bag to end the inning. So Chisenhall, Cleveland's deluxe pinch hitter, robbed of a hit by Vargas.
game for Twins Live presented by CenturyLink. Roy Smalley and Anthony LaPanta will take a look at how Jose Ramirez continues to rake in the runs for the Indians. We'll also take a look at how Adrianza was the bit of pop for the Minnesota Twins today, and we'll give you a preview for Game 2 that's coming up in just a few hours. We'll see you on Twins Live presented by CenturyLink right after the game. Guys?
All right, thank you, Audra. Bottom of the 8th. Twins trying to make a little noise against this lockdown bullpen the Indians have had the last few years. Twins haven't had a hit since Adrianza's 2-run double in the 4th.
And Dan Otero coming out of the bullpen, making his 25th relief appearance. Here's another guy that's been pretty durable over his career with the Giants when he first came up, also Oakland, now in his 2nd season in Cleveland.
Escobar takes down and away, ball 1. Escobar 1 for 3. And now 2-0. Twins are 8-7 in the month of June. Chisenhall taking over in right field for Austin Jackson. Twins trying to put together 3 straight winning months.
Otero with a good sinking fastball. That last pitch to change up. Hard breaking ball.
Up the line. 2-2. We're seeing on a more regular basis the other team scoring 7-8 runs a game. It's hard to come back and win those ball games. And the Twins would like to get back to the type of games they played in April, but it's hard to do that because the rotation is minus Phil Hughes and Hector Santiago. And they were in the rotation in the month of April. Santiago was pitching really well. He had a bullpen session today, and under the assumption everything went fine, Hector said his arm feels a whole lot better and stronger. We would expect Santiago to move back into the rotation here, perhaps as early as the Chicago series.
Sad to say what the Twin staff has looked like, what they did look like last year, and that's not good.
To say that again.
The staff right now looks like the staff we had last year.
Fly ball.
Struggling. A lot of starters not going deep into the ball game. Bullpen overused.
1 down. That'll bring up Sano.
Did I say it better that time?
You probably said it the exact same way, but it registered this time.
Going ding ding.
Yep. July 6th is Game of Thrones night at Target Field. A limited number of Game of Thrones theme night ticket packages are available. They include a game ticket, a Sano King of the North t-shirt, and a chance to sit on the Iron Throne. Oh, boy.
They do that every day.
It'd be cold, wouldn't it? Go to twinsbaseball.com/GOT to learn more about the Game of Thrones theme night offer. An Iron Throne. El Sano retired on a fly to center, 2 away.
I call that area my library.
Here is Robbie Grossman. Twins would like to see Grossman's bat pick up. Maybe for Robbie, given the type of hitter that he is, it would be a signal of a rebound if he started drawing some walks. But he's in a bit of a slump at the plate. Outside, ball 1. Grossman 0 for 3 again today.
Yeah, Robbie 0 for his last 11. So he needs a good at bat here.
There's a strike. 1-1. Chipped foul. We see more and more swings like that where it just seems like Robbie's timing is off.
Yeah, it's such a long season. You go through the good and the bad, and you have to struggle through situations like Robbie's going through right now, just making good solid contact. Sometimes I'm sure hitters start feeling for the ball, and then you take a pitch inside and you strike out for the 2nd time in the game.
Otero has a 1-2-3-8. The Indians in front again. They struck early 3 first-inning runs, and they have kind of coasted since then. Bradley Zimmer facing Matt Belisle, and the first pitch driven foul down the left field line.
Well, again, 2 players for the Indians have knocked in all 8 runs. Ramirez with 4 runs batted in, and Zimmer has tied a career high with the 4 runs batted in here in game 1.
Twins have a pull shift on for Zimmer. He's got the whole left side of the infield to himself, particularly the grass between home plate and third base. Don't know if he can bunt. We know he can run. Don't know that he'd be smart to try to bunt here with a 5-run lead. But last night, Jason Kipnis, when the score was 8-0 in the 6th inning, tried to bunt. There's a strike on the outside corner, 1-2.
And Matt Belisle starting his 2nd inning of relief, and this is what we see when the starters can't go deep into the ball game. Some of these guys, they usually pitch 1. It's been a while for Matt to pitch 2 innings. You have to go back to late May. There's usually 1 inning here, 1 inning there, but he gets a strikeout there. His first in relief.
1 down in the 9th inning, and now that'll bring up Robert Perez, but with only 1 out.
Looked like a fastball up that Zimmer swung through. Take a look at it right here. Just above the belt.
Perez 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. He's ended an inning 3 times with strikeouts. Strike 1.
Good slider right there by Matt.
Down and away, 1-1. Did you ever, of course you were a pitcher, you either pitched in game 1 or game 2, but it wasn't like you were a position player, but did you ever have a split doubleheader? Back when you played, they only had those in Fenway Park, right?
Yeah, that's about it.
And that was to accommodate the fact that they had such small attendance, and many of the games sold out, so they were given an exclusion, but now they're commonplace in baseball.
Yeah, and back in the 70s, we played a lot of doubleheaders. I'm going to guess we played maybe a half a dozen doubleheaders.
Right. Scheduled doubleheaders.
Right, throughout the summer.
But do you ever have a split one that you can recall?
No, only in Fenway.
1-2. Tapper to short, and Adrianza has plenty of time to sling it to Vargas. 2 down. And that'll bring up Eric Gonzalez.
I think a lot of double headers, even back then, if it was a makeup, it would be the half hour in between games.
Yep.
This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins LLC.
One of my great experiences as a baseball fan, a spectator, came on the 4th of July years ago at Met Stadium. It was the Twins and the Indians, and in the nightcap, Rod Carew hit a grand slam. And you know, back then I was in college, I didn't have any money, so the idea of going to 2 games for one price.
Yeah.
Base hit to right field. It is the 4th time this afternoon that Gonzalez has gotten on base, 3 times with a single.
Well, you know what? I think what we've seen Gonzalez is he takes everything the other way. We showed the graphic on how he's trying to swing, and not a bad pitch. It just stayed up a little bit, but Gonzalez not trying to pull that. Just kind of reaches out and pokes it into right field.
There's Kipnis.
I think all 3 of his hits have been to right field. Well, he had an infield hit in his first at bat.
Strike 1 to Kipnis.
Kipnis 2 of the 13 hits the Indians have put up.
So far in this series, the Twins have gotten a total of 8 innings from their starting pitchers. Hope for a deeper start tonight from Mejia. Popped up. Escobar crossing the line, and right near the railing the ball lands, and it's 1-2. With the shift on, Escobar had a long run, and he needed one more step to get there.
About the only thing he could have done right there is dive, and then you were right into that camera well area. You see where he's playing, so he came a long way for that ball. Basically playing it short.
1-2 to Kipnis. To right field, and Grossman won't get there. Fields bobbles the second hop. Now they're going to wave the runner around because of that, and the Indians will get another run. Grossman tried to backhand it, but he didn't gather it in. And Gonzalez, with 2 outs, off on the crack of the bat, will score what should be an unearned run.
Yeah, unearned run right here. It's a ball in. Kipnis picking up his 3rd hit on his 2nd double. Robbie going over there, and then the ball hitting his glove and bouncing away. By the time he can get it back in, Gonzalez scores from first base. He scores for the 2nd time in the game.
Right now it would be ruled an unearned run, but if Robertson gets his first hit, it would be an earned run. 5 ground ball outs so far for Daniel Robertson.
Grossman will get the air, his 3rd of the year, and no RBI for Kipnis on that double.
One strike. Up and in. Indians scoring runs in innings 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now 9. Wow. 2-1. Twins will face right-hander Mike Clevenger in the nightcap. Back to Belisle, staggering him a bit. Over to Vargas to end the inning. A run for the Indians in the top of the ninth. Four to the guy on the left, four to the guy on the right.
Yeah, again, Ramirez hitting a home run as a right-handed and left-handed hitter for the first time in his career. There's game 2 starters.
Well, they're left-hander for the Twins, Adalberto Mejia, and right-hander Mike Clevenger.
Yeah, Twins have had some success against Clevenger. You know, he's a couple stints with the Indians. Mejia's coming off a bad start, but prior to that, he was being pretty consistent. He'll be facing the Indians for the first time in his career, young career.
Twins faced Clevenger earlier this year. Had some control issues. And Clevenger was a guy who won the final game of that 4-game series when the Twins were in Cleveland. And they were just obliterating the Cleveland pitching staff. It was Hector Santiago's Twins debut, and he got some early run support, pitched pretty well against the Twins. We'll see what happens tonight. 1-1 and back to the mound, and Otero with the flip. One away. Indians with a short start of their own, getting through the game using 3 right-handed relievers. McAllister, Shaw, and Otero.
And so far they have worked 3 1/3 innings of no-hit baseball. That's how good that bullpen is.
Nick Goody's been good for them, and we have not seen him in this series yet. Closer Allen, of course, Logan and Miller, the veteran left-handed relievers. Rosario with his second hit of the ball game. Remember way back in the second inning when it was still very much a ball game, Rosario hit a smash up the middle that deflected off of Merritt, and Ramirez turned in a good play to take a hit away from him.
Yeah, both Rosario's hits here this afternoon to left field.
And now Buxton. A solid single to left, being sandwiched by 2 strikeouts, both of them looking. And there's strike 1. Crack foul, 2 strikes. Oh, 2 to Buxton. And another foul. Indians won their finale with the Dodgers and are on the verge of winning the first two here in Minnesota. And again on the outside corner.
Good pitch by Otero. He picks up his second strikeout.
Third time that Byron's been struck out with essentially the same pitch. And that'll bring up Adrianza with a single and a double. A couple of runs batted in.
Otero going outside, and I think what we have seen Marvin Hudson give that pitch all afternoon on.
Which means he's doing a poor job. That's not a strike. And the same batter has been struck out 3 times on a called third strike that wasn't a strike. So to me, that's a bad job by the umpire.
But credit Perez behind the plate. They're working it.
Sure, if the guy's going to give it to you.
Exactly.
But to say that he's giving the outside corner is being kind to the umpire.
Just a little wider corner.
1-1.
Doesn't make him a bad guy.
Well, but just because he calls strikes in the first game of a split doubleheader. Got a young player like Buxton is trying to refine the strike zone a little bit. And he gets 3 at-bats taken away from him. That's not good.
No, that's not.
2-1. 3-1 with Jimenez on deck.
I know umpires get graded after each game. I don't know what they are told. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, are they told, hey, you know, your strike zone today was very inconsistent? Do they get a penalty?
No. The reward for being a good umpire, postseason assignments. 3-2 to Adrianza. Twins down to their last strike.
What if you're an umpire and you just don't really want to do postseason?
Then you should find another line of work. Hey, I did a great job, but I'll pass.
Yeah.
Find somebody else. I'm going to be in a duck blind.
But I'll be listening to it on radio.
3-2 to A-Ray Adrianza. To center, and Zimmer makes the catch. And the Indians again this afternoon strike early, and they're now 5-0 against the Twins here at Target Field.
Well, it comes down to starting pitching, and the Twins did not have that here this afternoon.
It's kind of been the story. We've had 6 games in this homestand, Anthony, and the Twins have scored first in just one of the 6 games.
Their struggles against Cleveland continue. The Indians have outscored them 37-11 and 5 head-to-head wins here at Target Field. Minnesota will try to split the doubleheader tonight. We'll preview that. We'll look at how the bullpen for Cleveland was brilliant today. Here from the manager, Paul Molitor, all next on Twins Live.